Hello, vinyl community. We got E for Ellington, the great Duke Ellington, and the live at Newport composition. I was just listening to Diminuendo and Crescendo in Blue, which takes up most of the second side on this 1956 Columbia recording, the Duke Ellington Band. And the story goes that the Ellington Band had not had a hit in quite a while. They were playing ice rinks, which later on a lot of the rock bands would do, play ice rinks. Here's the album, Ellington at Newport, first side and second side on Columbia, 1956 release, stereo. The Diminuendo and Crescendo I had mentioned was a 1938 piece that Ellington had worked up for this 1956 concert in Newport, Rhode Island, July 7th. And it is noted by a 27 chorus by the tenor player, Paul Gonzales. And it's quite exciting, the bass and the drums, the rhythm section, and Ellington on piano. There was a blonde woman that got up and started dancing. And it's quite exciting. You can feel the electricity in the performance. Also of note, in these days, you got to remember this is 1956. 1957 was the first year stereo albums were first mass produced. So at this point in time, live albums were how do we say, an experimental phase, getting them to the full fidelity of what they could recreate in the studio. So the statistics are only 40% of this was actually recorded live. The Paul Gonzales solo was later redubbed in the studio because he was blowing in supposedly to the wrong microphone that didn't pick it up, et cetera, et cetera. Joe Jones, who was the drummer from the Teddy Wilson's band, who was also at that 1956 Newport Jazz Festival, was on the sideline egging them on with a rolled up copy of the Christian Science Monitor. And there's a lot of cool stuff. I'll read some of the soloists here. Jimmy Hamilton on clarinet, Ellington, of course, on piano, Willie Cook on trumpet, Gonzales on tenor, I mentioned Britt Woodman on trombone, Harry Carney on baritone sax, Quentin Jackson on trombone, Russell Procope on alto sax, and then later on clarinet, and the great Cat Anderson on trumpet, Ray Nance on trumpet, Clark Terry on trumpet. He played with a lot of rock people later on, terrific trumpeter, and has the Newport Jazz Festival suite with Festival Junction and then Diminuendo and Crescendo in blue at the end, Jeep's Blues in between, which is the Johnny Hodges alto player, Jeep's Blues tour de force. So that's this is the back cover of the album. You can see Ellington there and some pictures of him in the studio and the portrait. And really, he died in 1974. So from 56 to 74, for the next 20 years, this really set the pace and hit some of his greatest years, writing, of course, with Billy Strayhorn, etc. Ellington at Newport Jazz Festival, a really great jazz album. That's our E. We will go to F. I think I know who that will be next. This is a shorter one, so I'm going to try to get 2 or 3 of these reviews out a week for the vinyl community, all right? Duke Ellington, live at Newport, 1956, Columbia. A great, great jazz album, live. Great big band music. I love big band music, which I will hopefully feature more of, as well as, smaller combos and soloists with bands behind them. But this is, of the big band, this is quite something. I also want to highlight that there's a real R&B flavor to this. So it foreshadowed a lot of the rock stuff that was soon to come, the Elvis Presley, Bill Haley and the Comets, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, and later Elvis, of course. So all of that is in this. This is a nice foreshadowing and an excellent, excellent album. Check it out. Good to see you, vinyl community. Keep on rocking. Keep on listening to that cool jazz. And much love to y'all. Thanks.